The following is a presentation of the Liberty Flames Sports Network from Van Wagner.
Swing and a drive. That baby is gone, and the Flames have the lead. Swing and a miss, strike three. There's your ball game.
Welcome to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network. The Flames Clubhouse Report is brought to you by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance. Become a friend of the farm. Stay tuned for the latest news on Liberty Baseball, and we'll hear the thoughts of Flames head coach Scott Jackson, presented by Beacon Credit Union. Now, here's the voice of Flames Baseball, Nick Pierce.
Hello, folks. Welcome to another edition of the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report. Week 1 of the college baseball season is in the books, and Week 2 is here as we open up a 3-game series this weekend at Worthington Field at Liberty Baseball Stadium. The Flames will welcome the Seton Hall Pirates to town for a 3-game set starting Friday at 4 o'clock. Nice that the weather missed us this week. There was talk of snow in the forecast, but Lynchburg did not get any of that. Most of it stayed actually, ironically, to the south of us. And the Seton Hall Pirates and Liberty Flames will get underway on schedule Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock. This will be a good challenge for the Flames. Seton Hall 2-1 on the year after a couple of wins last weekend in a tournament at Wake Forest. They lost to Wake on opening day, but then proceeded to score 27 runs over the next 2 ball games against Illinois on Saturday. Beat them 10-2, and then 17-1 winners over Milwaukee on Sunday. Pirates did not have a midweek contest, so they come in at 2-1. The Flames, however, bounced back after their 3 losses at Clemson last weekend, with winning their home opener, Liberty over Radford Wednesday 4-2. And the biggest difference for the Flames was they were able to get out to an early lead, something that they were not able to do at all over the weekend against Clemson. They never led in that series, and the Flames were able to get some hits with runners in scoring position early in the ballgame, specifically from Ben Highfill. Highfill with a RBI single in the first inning put Liberty out to a 1-0 lead, and then Highfill would do it again in the second inning with a 2-run single to make it a 4-0 Liberty lead at that point. Good to see Gray Betts get his first hit of the year as well. He drove in a run with an RBI single in the second inning. Flames led it 4-0 after 2. Highlanders trying to get back in the ball game. They scored a couple of runs midway through, but the Flames able to play some good defense behind Mason Hand, who pitched very well on the mound. Hand did not allow a hit in his start until the 5th inning. Exited after 5, 2 hits, scoreless baseball, and got a big play at the plate from Gray Betts on a base hit to the outfield. Betts able to throw out a runner trying to score at the plate. Kept it at a 4-0 ball game at that point. And again, the Highlanders would score 2, but the Flames would hold on. They get good relief outings from Garrett Price and Landon Riley, who picked up his first save of the year. After the ball game, we did visit with Ben Highfill, who's been the Flames' top run producer through the first 4 games of the season. Here's what he had to say after his big night against Radford.
Yeah, it was good. It was good for our team to get out and get a win finally. Kind of had some offensive struggles last weekend, and so it was good to get a couple hits tonight, and it just happened to be me that was up in those situations, so I was happy to capitalize on those.
As we said, also there was some good pitching from the Flames on Wednesday night against the Highlanders, with Mason Hand going 5 scoreless innings, and Highfill able to play behind Hand for the first time really in 2 years after Mason went down with a Tommy John surgery in 2018. Here's Highfill on the great start by Mason Hand Wednesday.
It was great tonight. He was in there. He was in the zone. It's really easy to play behind a guy who's throwing strikes because you're just expecting the ball every time. And so it was great to see him out there. It's great. All of our pitchers have been good so far. It's been fun to play behind him.
Well, Hand did get in the ball game against Clemson on Saturday. He pitched 1 scoreless inning, but really this was his first long outing since coming back from the elbow surgery, and it's been a long wait for him. Hand, after the ball game, said it's just a thrill to be pitching again.
It was a good feeling to be back out on the mound with the guys, so it's definitely been a while. It was good to be able to come home, start the season, get the first win, and really get the ball rolling as a team.
And we talked about that big defense behind Hand. Gray Betts throwing out a runner at the plate, a couple of other good plays behind him. Mason said he was very appreciative of that on Wednesday night.
The defense tonight was unbelievable. Just tried to stick with the game plan. Pitcher's ballpark, we play great defense and just understanding that you have to trust those guys, and they perform every night. Definitely they were threatening in the fifth, and to be able to get out of the inning and have a great throw from Gray Betts is unbelievable. Can't ask for anything more.
And again, that's Flames right-hander Mason Hand after picking up the win on Wednesday night against Radford. One other piece of news this week for the Flames, unfortunately, comes from the injury front. That's Flames second baseman Will Wagner, who turned his ankle on Friday in the season opener against Clemson. Wound up playing through that the first couple of ball games, then had to leave the game on Sunday as that foot was tightening up on him. He was in a walking boot at one point this week on the right foot, but did not get in the ball game on Wednesday against Radford. Flames going to rest him up, take their time with him, and hopefully we'll get him back at some point this weekend. That's a big guy to lose out of the lineup for Liberty. Cleanup hitter on opening day, guy that hit over 300 with some power last year for the Flames, and first-team all-conference selection as well. So the Flames are hoping to get Wagner back in the lineup real soon. Well, still to come, we're going to catch up with the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson. We'll get his thoughts presented by Beacon Credit Union, heading into a big 3-game series with the Seton Hall Pirates this weekend in Lynchburg. Stick around. We've got more of the Flames Clubhouse Report coming your way next. Hear from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network.
When you insure your car with Virginia Farm Bureau, you become a friend of the farm, meaning you'll get personalized service, fast claims processing, and competitive rates. And you help support farming and agriculture and preserve the Virginia way of life. All you have to do is drive. Go to VAFB.com now for a free online auto quote or visit your local agent today.
This broadcast of Liberty Flames Athletics is brought to you in part by Beacon Credit Union. Beacon Credit Union is a full-service financial institution offering a wide range of products and services. Having served Lynchburg and the surrounding area for over 75 years, our vision is to be the premier provider of quality financial services, a leader in our community, and the most progressive financial institution in our field. More information on Beacon Credit Union and all your banking needs is available online at mybcu.org. Equal housing lender, member NCUA.
Now back to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance. This week's show continues with the thoughts of Liberty head baseball coach Scott Jackson, presented by Beacon Credit Union.
Clubhouse Report continues as we visit now with the head coach and looking ahead to a 3-game series coming up here this weekend with Seton Hall. We'll get into that in just a bit, but got up off the deck, got your first win here on Wednesday night against Radford, a team that was 3-0 coming in. Always better to get back at home and play in front of the home crowd and in front of circumstances that feel more comfortable, I think. At least that's what Mason Hand was kind of saying after the ball game the other night. Looked like that kind of played itself out with the rest of the guys too.
Yeah, I mean, it's always good to play at home, and I thought, I alluded to it, last night. Mason had been so good in the preseason for us, and he's really made some tremendous, strides forward, and he's got a little moxie out there, and he went right after Radford, and I think he got what he wanted early in the game, and it settled him in, even more after the fact that, we're at home, and I'm comfortable in my surroundings. Now I'm comfortable in the midst of competition and with what I'm faced with. So it was great for us to be able to, I think he retired the first 6 and then got the bottom of the order there in the third, and that's what you want, kind of get you over the hump. We didn't have to really, show a big different look there second time through, and I thought he really set the tone for us well. It's good for us, to be good and get a chance to go to the postseason. You got to have a fourth starter, and he's really, so far emerged in the way we would want him to.
When you're watching a guy come back off Tommy John surgery, and granted you've seen him in scrimmages and preseason and all that, but what are you really looking for with the first time or two out there on the mound in live competition?
Yeah, I mean, I think just conviction. The thing with Mason is he was very well removed from his surgery as far as the timetable goes. So it's not like we were cutting it right there at 12 months. Mm-hmm. It ended up being closer to 15, 16, and it really afforded him the opportunity to take his time. So he is coming off Tommy John, but similar to McInvale last year, where he's had a lot more time to be able to trust his arm, and if you have some bad days, you can be able to maybe reset it a little bit and not really push the envelope where I have to stay on this throwing schedule in order for me to be ready for for opening day. That being said, I think Matt Williams has helped him tremendously with just his direction, his tempo, being able to control his body. He's a big kid, big 6'4" kid, and I think he's starting to get stronger stronger and getting some more good weight. So just kind of a culmination of everything. You're always looking for him to be able to command that fastball first, and you think, okay, maybe the secondary stuff will come. But he's been able to do both, and he's used the time well. And I really think the preseason was huge for him, and being able to put things together and have some success against our hitters. And now he's going up against other competition. So it's been good. It's been a good process for him.
When you look at your bullpen and the way that you've been able to structure that, we talked a little bit about this the other night against Radford, guys going shorter stints, using more arms, and just kind of keeping guys fresh. It seems like that's kind of the way that you guys are working that this year, but also with having some guys that have done it, some guys that haven't. Is that good too for some of those guys that maybe haven't, just to quicker stints, build their confidence?
Yeah, exactly, and that's by design. That was all Coach Williams just looking at it and saying, hey, I think this is what we can do. I think we'll be effective doing this, and I think we'll be able to have a lot more guys that develop and have been put their feet to the fire, if you will, in some certain situations. Really, I think the thing that resonated with me was him talking about just narrowing the focus for some of those guys and saying, hey, you got to get us 3 outs, you got to get us 2 outs, whatever the case may be, and allow them to kind of really go out there and attack and use their stuff. And that keeps them on the attack, that keeps them to where they're fresh for us, and that keeps them to where we're using them on a regular basis. And you don't go a long period of time without having them made an appearance in a big situation.
We all know the closer situation in college is different than it is in professional baseball. You used Landon Riley to close out a ball game here the other night. Certainly has closer stuff. Garrett Price, though, came in before that in more of the high-leverage situation, so to speak. Is that kind of how you plan to use those two going forward, or does it just will it be dictated by the game and the situation?
I think you nailed it. I mean, you know what you're watching. I mean, you're exactly right. There's leverage situations where you want your veteran senior guy to say, okay, you know what, I'm going to clean this up, or I'm going to be able to get the top of the order, the middle of the order, whatever the situation calls for. I mean, Garrett's just got a lot of different looks. I thought his second inning was as sharp as he's been in a while. It wasn't a lot of velo, but it sure was a lot of, what we're used to seeing from him, which is a lot of bad swings on that two-seamer, and guys being, they have to be conscious of a lot with him. Change up, fastball that's straight, fastball that runs and sinks, slider. So just some progress with him, and yeah, I mean, it's college baseball. I mean, it's hard to label a guy as a closer. You got to have him available, number one, to finish the game. If he's not available, you got to have another guy there. I mean, Landon Riley's been great. I mean, last year he'd have walked that guy there in that 13 pitch at bat. I think he's just made progress, and he's been able to understand who he is, and growth and maturity is what we're all about here. That's what you coach for, and he's done that, and so have some of the rest of the guys. So I'm excited where it's going to take us, and we'll see what happens.
Offensively, 1 through 5 in the lineup came through for you the other night too. That had to be good to see.
Yeah, it did. I mean, Brady's swinging the bat well. I think he's juiced a couple balls. He doesn't have much to show for, at least last night, for example. And Ben Highfill, you're starting to see some of that veteran leadership and ability that I think he has. He's kind of a quiet leader, but he sure does go about his business the way you want anybody to. And we'll get there. Gray and Brandon aren't where they are or where they want to be. We know they'll end up getting where they want to go and having better at bats for us, and we'll get Will back healthy, and I feel like we'll be a little bit better look in full strength and have our on base ability to go with some of those big 2-out hits, I hope.
You mentioned Will Wagner. You anticipate him coming back this weekend?
Yeah, I do. We'll move him around in practice and get him out there. He didn't do much defensively before the Radford game. He did take BP and everything checked out okay. But you got to be careful with a guy like that. Something like that can linger throughout the rest of the year and never get better, and he's never full strength. So I'll err on the side of caution with that. I'll trust what Dan and Will say, and we'll figure out what's best for him and ultimately what's best for our team, which is to make sure he's 100% for as many games as possible.
Well, let's talk about Seton Hall. The Pirates come in 2-1. Got off to a really good start last weekend. Look at the numbers. They've done a lot of things really well, but also a program that has some history, too. I mean, they turned out a lot of big leaguers, guys like Craig Biggio, Mo Vaughn, Jason Grilli, and all-star closers. The list goes on. Was that kind of a factor in scheduling them early on as a program that's had some success traditionally and has a little bit of history?
Absolutely. I love to schedule those teams from the Northeast that I think have an edge to them. St. John's, Seton Hall, football, Kent State. There's a number of those programs up there that, number one, have a rich tradition and history, but number two, they're coached by good men. And Rob Shepard is a great guy and a guy that's been around the game for a long time. Ed Blankmeyer, who just recently retired at St. John's, is another one I enjoy. I just enjoy playing against those guys, and you're going to get their best shot, and they're very well coached. Seton Hall has always pitched well. We played them several times when I was at North Carolina, and it's just a really good a challenge for your team on the weekend. I mean, they're good. They lost one player off that team last year that that was picked to finish, I think, first or second, depending on the publication in the Big East, and rightly so. I mean, they've got good players and they've got older players, and they got some guys that can do some things, and so it's going to be a big challenge for us. I'm looking forward to it. I'm glad we've got them at home, and hopefully the weather cooperates here and we'll have a good weekend.
Yeah, the first thing that jumped out to me looking at the stat sheet is how many runs they scored last week. About 30 runs or so in a span of 3 games. Tell me about their hitters and what kind of challenges do they possess?
Experience. I mean, there's no substitute for that when you have, older players that have been there and, they probably didn't have the success that they wanted to have last year. And so you come back maybe with a little chip on your shoulder and the experience that goes with that. And that's a dangerous formula if you're their opponent. And so you saw that, I think, with their opening weekend there at Wake Forest. I know they lost on opening day, kind of a heartbreaker with the walk-off home run there at Wake. And so, they probably, if I had to guess, expect to win. I know they're going to take Shep's personality, which is to compete and to grind and, to really have that, that northeast edge, I call it, where those guys come down here and really get after it, and they're going to play hard. And so it's a good mix of veteran players that have an idea of what to do and what the situation calls for, and I'm sure that they've haven't gotten a chance to really dive into it yet, but just looking at it on paper and what they return, it's pretty easy to put your finger on what the formula is, and I think that's experienced and very tested players.
Yeah, that played itself out on the defensive side too. They played pretty clean defense, impressive for a team from up north. Maybe they haven't been outside as much, but still able to get it done there. Lastly, let's talk about the pitching staff, facing 3 right-handers on the mound here this weekend. Tell me about their pitching staff and McClinsky on Friday to start it off and what you're expecting.
Well, it looks like with McClinsky, a high spin guy. I mean, he really attacked with his fastball. I have watched his outing against Wake Forest, and he can run a fastball by you. You got to be on time for it. You got to see it down in the zone, and he's got a curveball kind of similar to Noah Skiro's, which is a downer. Really good shape to it, really good depth to it. So he looks very competitive out there. He looks like he's got some moxie and he expects to win. Just watching him on video, the body language is really good. So I think he brings a lot. I think they're going to throw strikes and challenge you. That's always a good formula in this ballpark. Here at Liberty. So that's what we teach our guys. And so like I said, it'll be tough for us. It'll be a tough matchup, but I'm looking forward to seeing our guys. I know they're excited to be here at a home weekend, and whenever you have a high caliber opponent like Seton Hall, I hope it brings out the best in our guys. I expect it will.
Coach, appreciate the time. Good luck.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Once again, the thoughts of Liberty Flames head baseball coach Scott Jackson, presented by Beacon Credit Union. We'll take one more break. When we come back, we'll tell you about the starting pitching matchups and give you a preview of the weekend coming up. Liberty and Seton Hall this weekend from Lynchburg. Flames Clubhouse report continues after this.
Your Liberty Flames football team are Cure Bowl champions.
We here at FBS, and we here to stay, man. Let's go.
After an historic season under first-year head coach Hugh Freeze, the Flames are still burning. Season tickets for 2020 are on sale now. Be there this fall for all 6 home games at Williams Stadium. Season tickets start as low as just $70. Rise with us.
Touchdown, Liberty!
Get your season tickets at libertyflames.com/tickets. Now back to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance.
All right, welcome back one final time here on this week's edition of the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance. Nick Pierce with you as we look ahead to this weekend series coming up here between the Flames and the Pirates from Seton Hall. As we talked about with Coach, this is a program that has a lot of history to it. They've turned out a number of major leaguers and guys that went on to the Hall of Fame, guys like Craig Biggio, and then all-stars like Mo Vaughn, Jason Grilli. The list goes on and on. Very good program with a lot of history. Rob Shepard, the head coach, does a great job there. And he's got some good pitching lined up here for the weekend as we take a look at the probables for the weekend series. Starting on Friday night, Liberty will send Mason Meyer to the mound, 0-1 with a 1.80 ERA. Pitched very well in the season opener at Clemson, just did not get enough run support. On the other side, the Pirates will counter with Ryan McClinsky. He only went 4 innings against Wake Forest last week, but watching his outing, he's pretty good. Fastball in the low 90s, got a good curveball. No record for McClinsky up to this point, a 4.5 ERA, but you could tell he had a good idea of what he wanted to do up there against Wake Forest hitters last Friday. So tough matchup for the Flames coming up here this weekend. Noah Skiro will go on Saturday. Flames right-hander 0-1 with a 1.5 ERA. Again, pitched well enough to win that game, just got no run support. The Pirates will counter with right-hander Noah Thompson, no record, and a 3.60 ERA. Then on Sunday, it'll be Flames left-hander Joe Adamets going 0-1 with a 5.79 ERA against Pirates right-hander David Festa, 1-0, did not allow an earned run last weekend against Milwaukee. So, those are the starters for this weekend series. Looking at the weather, again, we were projected to get some snow earlier this week, but thankfully that did not happen. And looking ahead to the weekend, going to be chilly in the first game. 44 degrees is the high in Lynchburg on Friday, but abundant sunshine in the afternoon. Same thing on Saturday, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures do warm up a little bit, though. High of 55 on Saturday, and then we'll have our nicest day of the weekend on Sunday, 58 degrees with plenty of sunshine from Worthington Field at Liberty Baseball Stadium. So it should be a great weekend for baseball. If we can just survive that chill on Friday, we should have better weather coming for the rest of the weekend. And again, the best part, no chance of rain here this weekend as well. As far as the broadcasts go, we'll have live audio from the Liberty Flames Sports Network available online at libertyflames.com for all 3 games, and also streaming on the LU Today mobile app. So download that to your phone. Go to the LU Today mobile app, download the app, and then when you get there, click in the top left corner, go to live streaming, and then click on broadcast, and you'll be able to access the Liberty Flames baseball broadcast that way as well. So just another way to access Flames baseball coverage this season. All 3 games will be available on the online audio stream, and then Sunday's game will also be our game of the week on 90.9 FM, local radio in Lynchburg. 90.9 The Light will carry Sunday's game. Airtimes 30 minutes prior to each game. Friday's game 4 o'clock, Saturday's game 2 o'clock, and Sunday's game is at 1. So make sure you join us this weekend for Flames baseball on the radio or online at libertyflames.com. Also, live television coverage this weekend as well. The Friday game and Sunday game will be on ESPN+. Alan York and Andrew Yasik will have the call for you there as well. So plenty of opportunities for you, but we just hope to see you out at the ballpark. If you're in the area, come on out and join us for Flames baseball from Worthington Field at Liberty Baseball Stadium. That's going to wrap things up for this week's edition of the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report. I want to thank our guests, Ben Highfill, Mason Hand, and the head coach of the Flames, Scott Jackson. Until next time, my name is Nick Pierce, saying enjoy the baseball this weekend. So long, everybody.
You've been listening to the Liberty Flames Clubhouse Report, presented by Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance. For more on Flames baseball, check out libertyflames.com. Plus, you can also follow the team on Twitter and Instagram at Liberty Baseball and on Facebook at Liberty Flames Baseball. The Flames Clubhouse Report is an exclusive presentation from Van Wagner on the Liberty Flames Sports Network.